This is the city that never slept. The rise and rumble and falling city set back and dollar sliced. The Broadway, boogie-woogie town that never did doze the full 40 winks. Did it ever sleep? When it was all one story, bar the spires? Did it nap? When it was just a little trading post, the Little Apple, or the beaver trapping station that never slept. Lenape hunters, after a long day's hunt, surely they had a little sleep. The glaciers, icy, rumbling over the granite. Even the glaciers were on the move, driving over Manhattan, getting to Staten Island, and turning around 18,000 years ago. This is the city. Sleep is when the sheep stop jumping over the gates, when the coffee doesn't cut the mustard, and when the lullabies work. When the mind is at rest and the body not active. That is sleep. Sleep resides in the afternoon sun, in the creak of rocking chairs, and in the eyelids of sleeping porch dogs, frisbee dreaming in the amber light. Sleep wanders. We doze in beds and rocking chairs, under stoops and under the wide and satellite blinking skies. At sea, in hammocks or grass fields, picnic blanketed and shamrocked. Under the covers, in the arms of lovers, in love and war and peace. We still find our old friend sleep.
Can you text your phone number to the number?
Yeah, I don't think ever sleep will come to New York, but if it comes, then people will be more sane. But then people come to New York because they are insane, and they compete against each other to be even more insane, right? And then I guess that's what you get.
A lot of it would be the same, honestly. I think it really depends on the type of dreams you bring. Yeah.
I feel like very quiet, like whispery, because especially New York is so loud. You know, if sleep is coming to New York, it's going to make everything a lot more hushed. Maybe like
if it comes, then people would be a little bit less insane. I think that's one of the traits of this city. I think I sleep 4 hours a day, maybe 5 in the good days, and I just got back from Europe, and there I was sleeping 12 hours, no problem. Here I can't. I feel like, I don't know, there is fire burning under my ass. So I even this morning I woke up at 7:30, I went to bed at 2, I think.
people's dreams in New York City. So, like, do you have any like dreams that you've slept at night and remembered recently?
I actually had a weird ass dream a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I walked in. I had a dream that I walked in, and my girlfriend was like a cake, and it was literally like a cake. It wasn't like it was icing on her body. It was literally her in the form of a cake. And I knew it was her, but like, it wasn't, like, you feel me? It was weird.
Did you talk to her about it, or?
No, nope. That would just stay in the boat.
Did you eat the cake, or?
Did I eat the cake? No, I mean, I really feel like most of my dream was just me trying to figure out why she was a cake.
Really,
but I mean, you know, it was a quick one.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Alright.
Do you mind if I use this? I'm making a puppet show. Is it okay if I use your voice?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
So thank you so much. What's your name?
Lee.
Tom. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Is there like I want to see it?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I can give you some.
So, I first flew into JFK on the 17th of December 2019. I got through customs, no worries. I got my bags. And to be honest, I was a little hungry after the flight. So I made my way into what I thought was the quintessential American store, the candy shop. I went in there and I was immediately struck by some serious customer service. Hello, sir. How you doing? Are you after anything in particular today? Whoa. Maybe you're looking for the perfect gift. Do you have any questions about the candy? Whoa. I didn't have anything for him, but it persisted. Hi, sir. Whoa. So, eventually, I just asked him a question to kind of appease him, you know? I asked him, all right, mate, what's your favorite American candy? Oh, my favorite American candy? My favorite American candy. It's got to be, for me, the Choco Crème. I mean, I've lived here for a bit now. I've never heard of a Choco Crème. At that time, I definitely didn't know what it was, and I asked him, what is a Choco Crème? Oh, a good question. What is a Choco Crème? He kind of turned into Rodin, like the thinker, but a Choco Crème. Well, it's pretty much a crème, but Choco.
And I can tell you one interesting thing, just that in my dreams, there is there's like a canon and like a continuity since I've been a kid. So like, I still like visit places that have been in dreams that I've had like years and years ago, and I still remember the things that happened in those dreams. So it's like one really long dream that just continues. It's weird. There's like an actual geography that is continuous from like in my entire life in the places I go with dreams. That's all. Yeah. It's New York City. It's Manhattan. It's New York City, and then there's other geography, like where other states are in relation to New York, and how like how to get there, like in other countries sometimes. But let's see. I mean, and like different neighborhoods. I mean, I can describe like I can describe what these different neighborhoods look like when I go to them. Like the West Village, you've been to New York before, so the West Village is like downtown, like, yeah, so it's always, there are specific stores, it's the things that sound so dumb, it's like, it's just like stores or just like places where it's such a mundane thing, but there is a Barnes & Noble in my dream New York that only exists in the dream New York. It's not a real thing, but I've been back to it like so many times, like this is the Barnes & Noble that exists in my dream. I know where things are in it. And there are other stores that have had, they were like theaters that existed when I was a kid, and now that theater doesn't occupy that space anymore, but it's like something else now, but I know that the theater used to be there. I don't remember many of the other details around it, but what happened was I was coming home, like, and there were other things happening, but I walked into my apartment and it was the stage for Eurovision, and England's performance was going on, and I ended up just becoming one of like the dancers in they were doing some waltz thing, and I don't remember how, but I was dressed as like a really blinged out seal. So what this looked like was, it was like there was like a feather headdress, and it was one of these like fluffy harp seals, like these fluffy harp seal babies that are all white, but then there was like some like elaborate rhinestone sort of things like glued around, and it didn't look like me in any particular way, but this is what I was in that moment. But then there was like an actual seal. Anyway, so yeah.
So, the next day I was staying with some friends in Brooklyn, and I woke up to an empty house. I was hungry, and so I strolled the streets of Brooklyn looking for something to eat. And I eventually stumbled into a bodega. I ordered a coffee and a buffalo chicken sub. I heard this kind of rustling behind me. This guy comes up to me, puts his hand on my shoulder, says, "Buffalo chicken. That's a great flavor, my friend." Oh, thanks, man. Cheers. The best flavor. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Do I notice an accent? I'm gonna guess. Germany. No, dude. I just arrived from New Zealand yesterday. Oh, right on. So, you guys got buffalo chicken in New Zealand, huh? Not really. We've got like Subway, I guess. Oh, no. That's not the real deal. I gotta ask the question then, buddy. How did you know how to choose buffalo chicken? The greatest flavor. I don't know. I just guessed. Whoa. Nice job. He kind of brushes past me at this stage and goes to the guy behind the counter who's there busy making the sub. It's this guy's first day in New York City, and he's chosen buffalo chicken. The greatest flavor. The guy behind the counter just sort of looks up at us and looks back down at the sub.
They charged me $8,000 because I had ordered 100 mangoes on the train. It's like a weird stress train.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing, that's amazing. I just realized, I'm so sorry, it's been a beautiful conversation, but I forgot to press record for the
You forgot the what?
press record for the whole snake dream.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm so sorry. Do you want to give me a quick brief run through again? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on a bed in a circular room.
Yeah.
On the floor are all these snakes. I'm terrified. I don't want to move. And then I remembered a scene from All the King's Men from Robert Warren's novel, where Willie Loman, who's playing the real character, forgetting his name, says, "Give me the axe." And in the novel, he means he's going to cut the dead wood, get rid of the corruption. So suddenly I've got this axe in my hand. I jump down amidst the snakes and I start cutting them with the axe. Each piece of snake turns into another piece of snake. And I'm saying, wait a minute, I wanted to kill these snakes, instead I'm making more snakes. So I don't know what to do. But they're doing their snaky thing. They're not bothering me. They don't even know I'm up here. So I drop the axe and I go back up and I go to sleep, and I've never had the dream since. But then the inner snake, did you get that part? You didn't get the inner snake either? It's one snake. Every human being, every mammal probably has an inner snake, right? From your mouth to your anus. And don't forget, those intestines, if you stretch them out, we're talking about 4 or 5 feet or more.
It's a good snake.
Yeah. And then if you include all the rest of it, I mean, it's a pretty big snake. So maybe we're descendants from snakes, or they're operating the same way we do. I don't know. Anyway,
in this play, there's going to be a character who is Sleep. Like Sleep is personified. Can you guys tell me what you think Sleep might look like and how they would approach? And they come into New York City. So.
Sleep comes to New York City.
Yeah.
well, don't the French call sex a petit, something, a small death? I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. We'll speak French.
Yes. What is it?
Petit mot.
Yes. So, yeah, petit mort.
Yeah. I feel like very quiet, like whispery, because especially New York is so loud. You know, if Sleep is coming to New York, it's gonna make everything a lot more hushed. Maybe like quieter colors, softer colors.
There's something you may want to check if you're doing dreaming. The word nightmare actually comes from a painting where a guy is sleeping and there's a horse hovering over him. It's a famous painting. I'm trying to remember who did it. But if you Google up the word nightmare, you'll probably get it. And having a horse as a puppet would be interesting, especially, say, a horse with bare teeth or with tusks or something scary like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That would be great.
bringing other animals other than just snakes.
Sure, yeah. It's important to have more than just snakes. Yeah. Well, thank you both very much for sharing your ideas. I really appreciate it. If you want some information, yeah, cool. It'll be sometime next year. Either to our choose? Both. Okay, all the best. Good luck with your books. Yeah.
So, the next day was wintry. It was cold and soggy, and I was walking around Central Park. Around Columbus Circle, came across this guy. He was tall and he had a black suit on, like a businessman type, black baseball cap. And he was in a very serious conversation with a small dog. Bo! I need you to go and get that frisbee. This guy was serious. It looked like he gave orders and he got what he wanted pronto. But this time, it was a puppy. Bo! The frisbee! It looked like he was really fed up with a temp at the office. The frisbee, Bo! I need you to go and get the frisbee! The puppy was looking at a big black and silver Adidas branded frisbee, which was a very large grey puddle. This is not working out, Bo! This is not working out! I sort of carried on walking, and it was getting serious. Bo! The frisbee! It felt like he was about to terminate some kind of puppy owner contract right there and then. I left them to it.
So the dream started, and it was kind of like I had just come out of a hole in, I guess it was on a river, and there was a bridge, and the sky was really open, as there was like a double rainbow and then a triple rainbow. Like in the sky, like the rainbows just kept refracting everywhere, and they were so powerful, and there was lots of trees everywhere, but like they weren't super tall, like bushy trees, and everyone was gathering on the bridge over the river to look, to face the rainbows. And then as we were like all freaking out about that, the sky, oh, I even think there was a moment actually where I was so excited about the rainbows that I fell into the water. I just had to be in the water because I was so excited. And then when I got out of the water, the sky started changing, and it became like a partial eclipse. And I've never had a dream about an eclipse before. And it was so beautiful, and like it turned like red and purple, and like you could see the stars, and everything was like quiet and cold, like very like eclipse vibes. And then we kind of like got up and went back onto the platform, and then my like old professor, very long ginger hair, was like waiting for me at the top of the hill with this other lady who was like dressed really fancy, and they were wearing these crazy like shape-shifting masks, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And I remember just like trying to get away from the scenario, but also wanting to see what would happen next. And then I woke up and I have a swollen eye.
So, later that afternoon, I sat in an Irish pub, and I ordered a pint, kind of had a look around. It was busy, and there was a guy right next to me, tall, older chap, hunched over in a long black coat and a wide-brimmed black hat. He was drinking a small whiskey. He was kind of grunting away, and I realized he was actually having a conversation with the woman behind the bar. She was kind of hopping back and forth, and I realized they were talking about their shared ancestry from County Donegal in Ireland. After a time, I heard more about this guy. It turns out he was a third-generation grave digger from the Bronx. He'd been out there digging graves that day. And I don't know, I'd been inspired by some of these conversations I'd been having earlier in the day, and maybe it was my second pint, but I decided I was going to try and start a chat with this guy. Put on my best kind of Kiwi smile and said, "G'day mate, how's it going?" He didn't even look at me. I thought I'd try one more time. Pretty awful weather for grave digging, am I right? He looked at me with these big, icy blue eyes, tiny black pupils. Breathed in. Said absolutely nothing. I downed my drink and got out of there.
I found myself in hell, right? And how did I know it was hell? I mean, I just assumed it was hell, really. But I happened to find myself kind of getting tortured by my loved ones. You feel me? And this actually, you know, parallels another dream I had. Maybe it's a theme, maybe it's a personal thing, right? But, you know, I found myself, like, my loved ones, they were like gatekeepers and also timekeepers, you feel me? In hell, you know, and at one point I found myself going through it like a furnace, almost as if it was a conveyor belt. Like I was laying down. Going through this furnace, like it was hot, but at the same time, it's like it was bearable. It's like I wasn't suffering, right? You know, and I was telling myself, like, yo, God is with me. I was praying to Jesus, right? So I think that's what was making it tolerable. But it's like it was a slow-moving conveyor belt, like in a furnace, bro. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden, I'm praying, but I'm praying like earnestly, like with faith. Like I got no doubt that God got me. Like I'm not even worried about it. That thank God I had enough like presence of mind at that moment in time, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like Jesus just came down like a comic, bro. Like I something out of a comic book. I ain't even lying, man. Like superhero, like looking like a comic for real. Like you know, he had like certain features like the conventional depiction of Jesus, right? Like he had the long hair and like beard, but he was like a comet, like a fireball, bro. It was like it's crazy. And then he just came down and swooped me and kind of like on some Neo in the Matrix thing, like just like blasted me out of there, like he flew me out of there. And I was just like giving praise, like yo, you know, it was beautiful moment. Like I prayed to God and He helped me. You know what I mean? I was in there and He didn't leave me in hell. Like straight about the Bible kind of thing. You know, it was a beautiful experience, despite the fact that, you know, I was in hell getting tortured by my loved ones, right? Like it's crazy. I recognize it not to be my actual loved ones, but just like something that was being used against me. Like that's what the real torture is to me. That these people I love. You feel me? Like you gotta, you know, I take a dagger to the jugular before I do something to my loved ones. Like, you know, they could come at me with a dagger if I can't prevent it. Like you just gonna stab me with the dagger because I'm not gonna harm them. You feel me? Like imagine that.
So the next day, the wintry weather had sort of resided, and the sun was shining down on Manhattan. I had a coffee in my hand, and I found one of those big glacial rocks in Central Park to sit on. from the other side of the rock, I could hear quite a loud and, I would say, confident conversation on the phone. And it went like this. Hi. Hi, yeah, how are you? Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I went on another one last night. Yeah. We got sushi. It was kind of shit sushi. Like 4 out of 10, I guess. Yeah. Well, yes, we went back to mine. He was a 5. Yeah. Okay, so it was alright. Like, he enjoyed it a lot. For me, it was kind of boring. Like a 4, I guess. Oh, that was pretty big. That was a 6. Yeah. I know, stop. Yeah. How are you? Oh, good. Oh my God, you're at work? Oh, sorry. Okay. Aw, I love you too, Mom. Bye.
Can I speak about the character?
Yeah, for sure.
Because do you know, this anteater, we have a mystery or stories about anteater, in Japanese or China, anteaters, they eat people's dreams. So it's kind of related to dream. I think you can search online, and they can kind of fly.
They can fly.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm looking it up. It says here, so in Japan it's the baku, and in China, mo. And it's a flying, yeah, it can fly. And it says here that in Japan, a child says baku, baku, baku 3 times. This anteater will appear and eat the knife. So cool.
For my return to New Zealand, I found a cheap plane ticket which involved a stopover in Guangzhou, China. It was January the 22nd, 2020, and I was there for less than 36 hours. A lot of these hours were spent trying to get cash out from an ATM. It was 2 days before Chinese New Year. The airport was busy and there were queues for the bank machines. I joined long lines of older folks who were getting cash out and sliding it into red envelopes for their loved ones. After being denied at one bank, I would walk to the next. And this was how I got around the inner city. Through the old town, with its canals and colonial architecture, through the streets dedicated to specific commodities. One street was dedicated to electric bicycles, the next to goldfish. I came across a rehearsal for the big spring festival parade. Dragon dancers sat in the shade with their bespoke fluffy trousers on the bottom and white tank tops. They were texting and smoking cigarettes with the dragon laying next to them. I stayed at a hostel. It was run by a guy who was around my age. I didn't speak Cantonese and he didn't speak English, but that night he seemed animated, telling me something quite urgently. I couldn't access the internet on my phone, and so I went to sleep listening to the rain on the roof and wondering what exactly he had been trying to tell me. The next day, I made my way towards the airport and I noticed the queues had moved. People were no longer queuing outside banks, but rather outside food stores and pharmacies. I set out for the airport and the city was clearly in a panic. I flew home to New Zealand, and when I arrived home I realized the gravitas of what had been happening. Guangzhou was rapidly heading into one of the world's first coronavirus-induced lockdowns. I hadn't really understood because of the language barrier. Within weeks, the world was at a standstill. New York was at its knees. Triages in Central Park, aerial images of the mass graves in the Bronx. A city in mourning, reeling and frightened. I thought of the people that I had spoken to. I wished them all of the buffalo chicken sandwiches and whiskies in the world. Aotearoa, New Zealand, was largely untouched in those first few months. There were moments where I was puppeteering. One time at a big outdoor festival, we were dancing, maybe 300 of us, and we were genuinely convinced we were in the world's largest party at that specific moment. We watched and we waited. And we read the news. The BBC ran a headline in May 2020. New York, the city that never sleeps, locks down. In June, articles about people's dreams started appearing. Apparently, 71% of people were reporting more vivid dreams during lockdown. People's sleep patterns changed. Days stretched into nights, and nights into days. People slept. Eventually, COVID arrived at our doorstep too, and the headlines became our reality as well. I was very interested in the idea of a city shutting down, sleeping, the gridlock dispersing, dolphins swimming up canals in Venice. All of the introverts and extroverts, gravediggers and gossipers, the grinders and their mothers on the phone, all dozing, all dreaming. A city asleep.
I could have sworn I bought a few. one of you